Yes guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. We are back with another Weekly United. Yes, it's that time of the week already. Time is absolutely flying by, isn't it? And this week, Manchester United's players, of course, have returned to training. We've got more Sancho talk. We've got talk about the most lethal partnership in the Premiership. Danny Rose is talking about Pochettino. Neil Wood is talking about Teden Mengi. We got Solskjaer talking about arseholes. And of course, we've got the latest financial results from Manchester United here on this week's Weekly United. Is an absolute jam-packed show, and thank you guys for joining us for yet another video. We've had daily content here on AdamMcKola TV during this lockdown, and it's going to continue for the foreseeable future. So make sure you're hitting that subscribe button and helping us hit 100k ASAP. And of course, if you can, join AdamMcKola TV as well and become one of the new members. We've got 55 plus at the minute. We're trying to hit 100 by the end of June. Click join to find out more. But right now, we're going to get stuck into the latest Manchester United news and the week in the world of the Reds. So as you all know, Manchester United are back in training, and Untitled Juan Mata pictured there on bikes together, looking happy as Larry, of course, observing social distancing rules. And Untitled is still training with the team. His loan expires on May the 31st, and United haven't yet decided whether we're going to keep him or not, but most of the team is training again now. Paul Pogba's back in training. Marcus Rashford's been reporting for Carrington, and his back injury is behind him now. And of course, you see Tony Marshall smiling there in training as well. And the boys are back, and I'm sure it'd be feeling good for some of them. Of course, we've had a few players this week, like Troy Deeney just decided not to turn up, and N'Golo Kante just decided not to turn up because they feel it's within their best and personal interests not to, and to keep their family safe. And you have to take into consideration their feelings, and you have to understand that. But I'm quite sure as well some of these lads will just be happy to get out of the house and get training again and just speaking to people and getting back into the training ground and going around. Hopefully they can do so safely. United had no positive results in terms of the coronavirus test, and we had testing done earlier in the week at Old Trafford. So far so good for the Reds. But Project Restart, who knows what's going to happen with that. We've already seen there's a number of positive tests in the Premier League. There's a number of players refusing to train. Are they going to refuse to play? Likely so. And what impact will that have on teams and fairness of, you know, the game? We're talking about completing a season to keep fairness in it. And is that fair? I'm not too sure. But United looking good to go. And if we can have Rashford and Pogba back in the mix when football returns, hopefully next month, should be alright. Now, this isn't really news, as in new stories, but it is a story which popped up in the last week, and it was this: Manchester United's elite strike force can propel them into the Champions League. And I was thinking, elite strike force, is that what we're calling it right now? And when you look at the stats with Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford, they are the most clinical partnership in the Premier League. They occupy 2 of the top 5 spots for players with the best shot accuracy. Now, Vardy is first with an incredible 61%. Anthony Martial 4th with 50.88%. And Rashford has a 48.57% shot accuracy, and he's 5th in the Premier League now. We've seen them scoring goals quite comfortably. They're both on course for double figures, 20 goal plus seasons, if the season does continue as expected to. Rashford's 1 goal away, and we all thought that had gone because of his injury, so it kind of worked out well for him. Football got delayed, he's now back, and he can target a 25 goal plus season, and Anthony Martial isn't too far behind him. What do you think? Are Martial and Rashford the most lethal partnership in the Premier League? Statistically, they are. But how do you feel about them going forward? Can they fire United to a Premier League title in the future? And will they fire us to Champions League football this season? I've got a funny feeling they will. Now, someone that's highly rated, we got a fair few highly rated academy players. The trouble is, when players come through at United, they're always going to be highly rated. But there's reason to be positive with the academy talent coming through at the moment. And Teden Mengi is another one of those that is impressing the coaches at Manchester United. He was playing for the under-18s, then he went up to the 23s, did well there, went back to the 18s, played in the FA Youth Cup, captained them to the semi-finals. And now Neil Wood's saying he should be the next one to do a brand and get through into that first team and hopefully battle for a spot. You've also got the likes of Ethan Laird on the periphery, James Garner, Dylan Levitt and co. But Neil Wood's feeling confident about Teden Mengi doing that. And when you look at centre-half positions and you look at, okay, we got Bailey who's had his injury problems, hopefully they're behind him. Maguire, Lindelof and Tuanzebe. Those are the only ones that I think are guaranteed to be here next season. Smalling, Jones and Rojo probably going to leave. And if they do, we're going to need someone to come in. Are we going to sign a centre-half? Is Teden Mengi going to be given an opportunity to be that fifth centre-back in the first team and play for the 23s throughout the campaign? You know, that's the kind of thing we'd do on Football Manager. But is that the kind of thing Ollie's prepared to do? Because next season is going to be a massive one for us as well in terms of progression. We want to keep improving and going up. And if let's say, worst case scenario, Eric Bailly suffered an injury again, touch wood he doesn't, or Axel Tuanzebe, you've got three centre-halves, especially if Jones, Smalling and Rojo have left. So Teden Mengi could get a fair few opportunities, and it wouldn't surprise me if Neil Wood was right. I told you it's an action-packed show. We're not even halfway through yet. Next up, Danny Rose has been speaking about Mauricio Pochettino, and he backs Mopo to be the next, or to manage Manchester United in the future, and believes it without a doubt. He said he'll manage one of the top teams in the world, probably Manchester United, and that's coming from Danny Rose. Now, I doubt Danny Rose has got any insight into what's going on behind the scenes with Poch, and who knows if he ends up at Newcastle, the place where Danny Rose currently is. There's been talk of that if the takeover happens. And look, if we had lost the last few of our games, or we didn't go on as great a run as we did, I believe there'd be a lot of talk about Pochettino coming to Manchester United. I don't think we've heard the end of it either. And I just hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can keep his positivity and keep the improvements up in order to get that time that he probably deserves. The Pochettino boat's probably sailed for the time being, although, again, I wouldn't be surprised if he did end up being Manchester United manager in the future. I just don't think it will be next season. As always, you get a Sancho update, and this week David Ornstein has told us it appears United are front runners for Sancho this summer, and some seem it's the only option. Although Jadon Sancho's camp aren't quite sure as that, and think when it comes to the crunch there'll be a few more teams interested in him. It does look like United are the front runners, with the ones that have made the most contact with Borussia Dortmund and the players' representatives. And when you look around, are Real Madrid, Barca going to be able to afford him, or do they want him? Bayern Munich, Juventus, are they going to come in for him? Chelsea, can they afford him? You look around and you think maybe it is just United that are there, but I don't want to get too confident and think it's a one-horse race, although I am confident Jadon Sancho will join us, and I am confident this isn't the last we've heard of it. But it's good to hear reliable sources talking about United being the only runners and maybe the front runners as well. Great stuff. Now, before the lads returned, they were doing fitness drills and all those kind of things as you usually would do in the pre-season, and Jesse Lingard came out on top, beating Scott McTominay, who would usually come out on top. And Scott McTominay wasn't even second, he was third to Harry Maguire, the captain as well, who's kept himself in good shape. And it's good to see the lads. When you look at McTominay, he's looking shredded at the moment. Lingard's looking fit, Maguire's looking fit. You know, Rashford and Pogba are getting back into the mix of things. Everyone's looking like they're raring to go, and they've been keeping themselves in good shape. And that's good to see as well, because they've been away from football for a while. It's going to take a while to get back. Remember going back to school and you couldn't write anymore. You forget, did I used to write with my left hand, or was I can't even remember how to write anymore. The lads are probably the same. So maybe this break will be good for some of them. Jesse Lingard, who didn't enjoy a great time for Manchester United at all, maybe he's had a chance to clear his head, feel fresh, feel more positive about things, and approach the season with more confidence. Because when the likes of him play with confidence, they do contribute massively to the team. So it's good to see them coming back fit and raring to go. Now, let's get you doing it on the football pitch. Now, we covered these quotes in United Daily Live this week, and it's a great quote from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'd rather have a hole in the squad than an arsehole in the squad. And it's a fantastic quote. Shout out to United We Stand for getting the interview with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Fantastic fanzine as well. And when you look at the quotes that have come out from it from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, they are something that make you feel positive as a United fan. It make you feel comfortable and confident as a Manchester United fan. And it makes you feel like our squad's moving in the right direction. I don't think our squad's anywhere near perfect at the moment. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is making decisions with the club's future in mind, with the club's future put first, with the club at priority. He's maybe not keeping some players that he would think, well, actually, maybe I need Sanchez to get me a goal or two, and that could be the difference between me keeping my job or not. He's kind of taken a lot of risks, trimmed the squad down a lot, kept players that want to be here, kept young players coming in the squad and keeping players on their toes, got a lot of competition, positivity flowing through the squad, and he's really putting his fingerprint on it and making the squad his. And I think he really has, since coming in December 2018, getting the job permanently in 2019. I think he has improved Manchester United. This attitude's great to see, because it shows he's not all smiles and nice quotes in front of the camera. He can be a little bit nasty behind closed doors if he needs to as well. But yeah, I hope he continues, though. You have to keep this a continuation of the success going and the improvement going, because this isn't success for United, getting a few good cup runs and finishing 5th. We need to continue. It would be success maybe for this season if we get Champions League football, but going forward, we need to be getting ourselves into position to challenge for trophies, serious trophies, and you do feel Ollie is building the foundations for that. So Manchester United have released their third quarter fiscal results this week as well, and they don't make great reading at all, and a lot of that impact will be due to the coronavirus and the loss of broadcast revenue. They're foreseeing that they'll lose 51.7% of that. It's based on their estimated league finish, the kind of money that will come in for that, and the fees they'll have to pay back. It's believed we have to pay around £15 million back to the Premier League due to the delays, and that will go throughout the Premier League. A lot of Premier League clubs will have to pay money back, and when you're thinking of that, United will be less affected by it. We will be impacted by it, but less so, and other teams lower down the table will be much more impacted by it. Commercial revenue has gone up by 3%. I'm sure they would have liked more of that, but it has gone up by 3%. Broadcast revenue down by 51.7%. To 26 million. Match day revenues down by 8.2%, as you'd imagine, and that will obviously get worse. There won't be pretty much any match day revenue in terms of tickets and merch and food and drinks and things like that. And total revenue is down by 18.7%, almost 19%, by £123.7 million. But the worrying thing for United fans is the net debt is up by 42.2%. to £429.1 million. That was at 300 million before. That's gone up by 127 million or something like that. Incredible. United's debt goes up. We're still there with that debt that was leveraged onto us by the takeover, by the Glazers. And when they come in, I believe it was around 500, 600 million. And we're still here at 429.1 million, despite the fact of taking billions out of the club and continue to take money out of the club. Now, as for a post-coronavirus world, or even a current coronavirus world with the way football is going to be, I believe United will be less impacted by what happens, but we still will feel it. And they say we've got £90 million there in cash to hand, which obviously is good. But when you look at it, you think not a lot of transfer is going to come out of that, is there? Now they've got, I think, 150 million credit there as well, I believe. So there's money there to be spent, but we'll have to see how much it does impact us going into the summer. Will we hear more value for market kind of stuff, or no value in the market kind of thing? Or will the Reds think, actually, we can maybe get 4 or 5 players here, and we can spend less on these players now, and it means we don't have to buy anything in January or the next summer, or when the market returns we have to spend less, and we can just get those players in now. They may think that, but it'll be interesting to see how it develops. And like I say, I'd be very wary about the summer. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sancho join us, but that could just be all of it our business, to be totally honest with you. You never know, so keep that in mind. But those results don't make pretty reading, and I'm sure they'll get a lot uglier for the rest of the Premier League. Guys, thank you for tuning into the Weekly United today. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting your earlobes off. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you're subscribing, you're liking, you're commenting, you're sharing, and you're joining. Can we hit 100 members by the end of June? Help me hit that target by clicking that join button if you haven't already. And to those that haven't joined, and Kit and Matthew, the latest, thank you to them guys for joining us. Keep it locked. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And for now, I've been AdamMcKola. You lot have been legends. We're out of here.